What first do you regret? First time I went camping. Did not pack nearly enough clothes and did not appreciate how cold it gets outdoors at night. Oh, I was gonna go camping for the first time this year. Got delayed. I'll have to be more careful. First time moving abroad. It wasn't horrible, but I was barely 18 and wish I waited a year or two longer until I had more experience being an adult and being independent. It's a lot harder to do that in a country where you are thousands of km away from family and don't speak the language perfectly. The first time I thought it would be a good idea to bite my nails as a kid, simply because I was bored. I haven't stopped since. Now I do it when I'm stressed, bored or just out of habit. First time having sex. I was young, and he gave me attention so I thought he loved me. He never talked to me again. Plus he had no idea what he was doing either, so it hurt. It breaks my heart to see so many responses to this that are so heartbreaking. But for the longest time I thought I was mostly alone in feeling this way, like one of the few people whose first time wasn't magical. There's comfort and strength in knowing you're not alone. My first alcoholic drink. I was hooked the moment I felt intoxicated. I ruined a lot of friendships and career opportunities because I wanted to chase that feeling. Hardly remember my 20s, but I am 10 months sober, which is nice. I'm about to hit 25 and realizing the same of my early 20s. Good job getting sober. We can do it. My first real boyfriend was manipulative, toxic, overall just a trash person. I'm still suffering from the effects of him and I wish I could go back and change a lot of things. If you start to see red flags in a relationship, please don't ignore it. Yeah, a lot of people overlook the first signs of controlling behavior. I'm sorry this happened with you. He sounds like a huge jerk. Hope you're okay now. Thanks for the advice. First tattoo. Trusted my older sister's now husband. Sidebar: he's always been emotionally abusive. She refuses to see it, by using the same artist that had done all of his work. I arrive and they're getting stoned. Tattoo is trash. Absolute trash. I called out the husband, saying he recommended this guy. His response: let that be a lesson to you. Never let a tattoo artist tattoo you under the influence of any drugs. I was barely 18, had lived a very sheltered life. He's just an butthole. Wish I had gone with my original artist who later did several of my tattoos, and I love every single one he did. First time going on a weekend trip to the mountains with my high school class and another class. I was left behind so many times, struggled to keep up, was teased by the others, fell a lot, was pushed away by some of my peers. It wasn't a great experience all in all. I could have stayed home and felt less isolated and saved the money. That was before I knew I was autistic and was trying to fit in and wanted to be in line with my peers. I still feel a pang when I think of it. I wish I wouldn't have tried too hard and I would have spared myself the feeling of being different and lonely. I'm sorry you had to go through that. I hope you're doing better now. First time having sex for sure. The highlights. He put the condom on inside out. It was outside in the woods. I was laying down on a rock. He came before he even got inside me. The only good thing I got out of that experience was a hilarious story to tell. He came before he even got inside me. I'm so sorry, but I laughed way too hard. My first time driving with my learner's permit, I drove right into a car in the church parking lot. It's been years and my family still won't let me live it down. I'm sorry to announce that you never will. My whole family knows the story of my aunt getting into an accident picking up pizza the first day she got her license, over 40 years ago. First serious boyfriend, meaning first person I said I love you to, and first person I had sex with. Lots of regret there. I'd been rejected by the person I actually liked, and started dating the first person who showed interest after that because I didn't think I could do any better. And he kept me feeling that way to maintain control over me. Some things I learned: if they break up with you because they're too young to be tied down, but still hit you up for sex all the time, run. If they tear you down and make you feel worthless when you try to stand up for yourself, Run. If they constantly justify their abusive behavior by bringing up their abusive family and refuse to make an effort to be better, tell them to find a therapist, and then run. If it's your first time having sex and they want to just get right down to business without foreplay or lubrication, tell them to GTFO. If they call you gendered slurs in front of your friends, run. If they depend on you to drive them everywhere, lend them your car and never help pay for gas, run. If they discourage you from bettering yourself, for example, going to college, getting a higher paying job, learning a new skill, etc., because it makes them feel inferior, leave them in the dust and go do that thing. This list could get very long, so I'll stop there. LOL. It took me a long time to realize that I didn't have to put up with that kind of crap. This post hasn't near enough upvotes. Please take mine. First time moving in with a boyfriend. I was young and way too immature. 17. It happened pretty fast and ruined what could have had the potential to be a great relationship. Yeah, moving too fast sounds kinda scary. First BJ given in a car. Around Christmas time, I went down on my then boyfriend while we were sitting in my car at his parents' house. While I was going at it, I glanced up and noticed he had fallen asleep, either due to the underwhelming experience or his insomnia, still not sure which one it was, and started snoring. He later reassured me that it helped him fall asleep, but I can no longer listen to Andy Williams' version of Let It Snow without reliving that embarrassing moment. I've fallen asleep giving my husband one before, didn't even know that was possible. I regret breaking my first love's heart. He was such a sweet and gentle guy. We were together for a couple years as teens. I outgrew him and we just were different people as is expected through those transformative years. I knew he didn't want to break up but I had to be the bad guy. I feel terrible about it but I know it was the right thing. While it does suck and is sad, it is completely normal for people to outgrow each other. Try not to blame yourself. Cherish the wonderful times you had together and know that you both are better off finding and taking care of yourselves. As I've grown older, the things I have been embarrassed about doing in the past have slowly become appreciation. I used to regret moving. I used to regret starting a new career path. I used to regret a lot of things. If I didn't move cities, I wouldn't have met new friends and traveled to so many cool places. If I didn't start that career path, I wouldn't have known it wasn't right for me. Continuing to be cautious and regretful is emotionally and mentally isolating. Once you are able to move on and accept what has happened, learn from those experiences, it changes your perspective. It's okay to regret something at the moment but don't let it hold you back. The first time I failed to walk off a job that treated me like a peon instead of a human with flaws and a learning curve. We don't encourage bad behaviors in our children. We shouldn't encourage bad behaviors in our employers either. Life is too short to be denigrated and meekly accepted out of gratitude for a job. Preach. I regretted opening up to a man and falling in love for the first time. I didn't realize that he didn't have emotional capacity for me and nothing hurts worse than being ready for love, opening up to love, loving someone, and then realizing he never loved me but just loved how much I loved him. LMAO. I feel every word of this. Currently going through it real bad. Sorry it happened to you. My first car crash. I was stupid 17-year-old who didn't pay attention. My dad got me a really nice used car that was super reliable and I got T-boned. I had to earn my own from that point on. It sucked. I'm gonna start driving lessons soon. This is something I'm afraid of too, LOL. The first time I trusted a man and fell in love with him, he turned out to be the opposite and not as nice as he seemed when we first met. He broke me. I'm sorry for what happened with you. You're not broken and you absolutely deserve better. First time doing drugs. It changed me. Ecstasy is a hell of a drug. It has changed me a lot. Promised myself I wouldn't do it no more. So far so good. Don't do drugs, kids. They mess you up. I'm glad you're handling it well. Stay strong. First time having sex. I was a freshman and had just ended a 2.5-year relationship where I honored my ex's desire to be abstinent. I just wanted to experience it finally, I guess. I'd known my partner for a month and I remember feeling that he had a condom on before even asking for my consent. In retrospect, the first red flag of many to come. Truthfully, if I could take back all of my sexual experiences and experience them for the first time with my current partner, I would. Same. My first real relationship. I was 16. He was 23. Ended up with him for 3 years. In that time he cheated on me for 8 months with my now ex-best friend. Forced me to sleep with other men for drugs. Made me work 3 jobs to support his drug habits. Called me ugly, fat, WHE, SLT and a lot of other names every single day. Blamed a miscarriage on me and made me really suicidal because of it. Cut my chest, 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 cut my chest. I really thought he loved me somehow. I wish I could go back in time and never get with him. I regret that period of my life a lot. Jesus Christ. The first person I kissed was a very close friend who ended up sexually assaulting me. The kissing made some good memories and I'm not sure if I regret doing it. I more regret who it was with. I do regret the first time I had sex. I wasn't ready and it scarred me even more. The guy was cruel, didn't care that I was in pain, wouldn't wear protection. I ended up getting a very bad UTI and losing almost 20 pounds while he cheated on me with my best friend. I'm so sorry you went through these things. I hope you are doing better now. You are worthy and you are loved. 3. First date. Went to the movies with a dude in junior high. It was boring as heck and the follow-up interactions telling this kid I didn't like him and didn't want to do it again coupled with everyone in school seeming to know about it were ultra stressful for me. I think I said yes because I liked the idea of a date or because I thought it was the normal thing to do, but I really didn't need that kind of anxiety in my life. Our bad first dates. I remember wanting to run from a movie date when I was in 9th standard LOL. First time moving in with a partner. He was older and I thought that meant he'd be responsible, but he was also an alcoholic and a total waste of space. He earned double what I earned, but I paid all the bills because he would take our rent money and spend it at the pub. Mostly I just regret staying so long. He was manipulative and abusive in way except physically. First time I did see. I had always wanted to do it since seeing Blow. But the crappy thing is you are never good. It's not like smoking pot or taking mushrooms, where you do it and you're good for a bit. See only feels good as you're snorting it and for a few minutes after. Then you are thinking about the next line. Also running out of coke is an awful feeling. Wish I had never touched it. I haven't for years now. First period. I packed tissues in my underwear for days because I was too embarrassed to tell my mom. I had no reason to be. She was very open about it, but I guess society made me feel ashamed, especially since I was pretty young. Normalize periods. I got super lucky with my first period. My aunt was watching me for the weekend, so I told her I started my period. Then when my grandparents came home I just told my grandma I need pads now and she said okay, and that was that. First time having sex. It was with my next door neighbor who was 18 years older than me. I was 15 and he was 33. I didn't know I was being manipulated and raped. So much regret and hate now. I'm so sorry. I hope you find some peace and healing. You have every right to be angry. Sneaking out to have sex the first time. Everything else about the night was perfect, but it made me a nervous wreck thinking my parents would come in my room any minute and see I'm not there. Luckily I'm still with the same guy. 5 years later. Or cute. First time drinking coffee. It was instant coffee. What was I thinking? Of course I hated it. Also it's not like a major regret, but I wish the first time I had sex I would have thought to put a towel down. I did bleed, and it did stain my then BF's mattress, which made for an incredibly awkward end to the evening googling stain removal options. First time smoking pot because 10 years later I'm still a pothead. I have a job and can adult like I need to, but internally it holds me back from a lot of things. First boyfriend. He was and still is a horrible person, but at the time I had low self-esteem and believed no one else would ever love me. Honey, I am so sorry that you felt that way. I'm putting that in the past tense, simply or of hope. Your simple words demonstrate self-awareness, a quality which deserves love. It took a alleged suicide attempt for me to not want to die anymore, so I think I know the struggle. Please, feel free to inbox me if you need an ear. I have to. First time having sex. We had a good time for a while but it ended in sexual assault. I also now identify as a lesbian but thought I was bi for several years and that really fricked me up for a while. Still not 100% sure BC I do find guys attractive but the thought of being with one terrifies me but I don't know if it's BC of my sexuality or my assault. I hate him for that more than anything else. Wow, same. I am with my boyfriend, not the guy that assaulted me, for a while now and he's really sweet but sometimes I wonder if I hate men. First kiss. God, it was so bad that I really went home thinking I might like girls. As I've come to find out, kissing is not supposed to entail sticking your entire tongue into someone's mouth. The worst is that he thought he was such a good kisser and player kind of person. Yikes. The bad ones always think they're the best. First time having sex. I met him at work and I was just 17 and I think he was 19 or 20. There were so many red flags that told me that he was leading me on and using me but for some reason I ignored them. For example, I went over to his house after having a really bad day at school and I tried talking about it and he literally said, "Why are we talking about this when we could be doing other sexual stuff?" I told him I wanted to have sex because I thought maybe it would make him like me since I knew that's what he wanted to do. It was awful. He wasn't gentle. When I told him maybe we should give up, he told me I should just get it over with and I was literally bawling my eyes out while we were having sex because it hurt so bad. He left immediately after to go smoke with his friends. Didn't talk to me for a few days and dumped me. I was kinda messed up but I got over it eventually. Funny thing is he texted me 6 months later saying sorry and that he wanted to make it up to me by taking me out to dinner. I kinda believed he was sincere until he said, "I'm still a frisky guy that thinks you're really attractive." Jesus. So many pieces of crap out there. I don't regret still being a V at 28. And I feel I'm more prepared to start exploring now but god dang, it amazes me how many people have no self-awareness on their shittiness. So sorry about that, especially given you were willing to hear him out after. I don't actually regret anything I have done in hindsight but I do wish I'd done a lot of your examples differently. Kiss, virginity, moving. In retrospect, everything I have done has made me who I am. Though, I have experience, I have wisdom and I have learned how to do each thing properly in time. Please don't be hesitant to try new things, especially the big things, but also don't rush into them, or feel bullied to do things. This is the advice I wish more people were given. Don't hesitate, but don't rush or feel pressured. My first time having sex. I regret the person. I wish I waiting way longer. I honestly wish I waited until I was 20, when I started my career and had a clearer outlook. Another big regret of mine was not getting the proper birth control sooner, and being honest and not scared of telling people sooner that I never want children. First time I purged. I've only attempted it a couple times since then but it's in the back of my mind ever since. Now that I know it's something I'm capable of, the urge haunts me when I binge and I have to wrestle with those thoughts. I wish I'd never done it. I regret the current apartment we moved into. For those of you looking into moving into a carpeted apartment, check the seams and edges before moving in. You will be charged to replace the carpet when your vacuum sucks the pieces and starts unraveling the carpet. I regret the first dog that my husband and I bought, only because she wasn't a fit for our household and it broke my whole heart into pieces trying to find her a new home where she could be happy. I regret buying that first vacuum. It lasted 4 months before catching fire. Kinda fun to watch though, if it hadn't been in our living room. I regret not buying a deshielding brush with my first GSD. Riding with the sunroof open while she's blowing her winter coat is like being in a snow globe of hair. First kiss. I commented to a friend when I was 16 that I hadn't been kissed and she said, "Well, want to just kiss me?" I was kinda like, okay, sure, I'm not actually into girls though, and she basically just shoved her tongue in my mouth and it surprised me so much I almost bit it. Was not what I was expecting or wanted. Sucked. I don't count it, lol. My real first kiss at 21 was much better. First kiss. It was nothing special for me at all. It's kind of embarrassing to say, but it was in the 4th grade at a birthday party during Spin the Bottle. I had a second kiss later on in HS I wish would have been the real first. Well, the high school one is maybe the first real one that counts because you actually knew what you were doing and wanted to do it. My first physically intimate experience. My boyfriend at the time was actually very skilled, and I enjoyed the sensations, but something just felt so off and unsettling. Even though I should have been loving it, I just wanted it to be over. I spent the next few weeks talking myself into getting physical again, and wondering what in the world was wrong with me and whether I would ever be able to be happy in a relationship with anyone. It turns out I'm just a lesbian. The first boyfriend. He was really a piece of work, abusive, harmful, etc. Not what anyone should go through, especially a teen. First major college. I really could have gone without that, but my mom said to follow my dreams. She can't tell me how to live my life. Thanks, Mom. I kinda wish you had. Haha. First boyfriend and first time having sex. Same guy. He was a complete butthole to me and cheated on me many times. I didn't know any better. The first time I had sex, I was already much older than average, 27, and my self-esteem was so low. I met a guy who was older and seemed like he knew what he was doing. He was ugly as heck, older than he said he was, and the sex was absolutely awful. I would happily wait until I'm 37 if I could undo that mistake. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.